Rub-a-dub-poo. Roo and Pooh just love to play. Jumping in puddles is fun. When Roo asks Pooh to spend the night, there's washing up to be done. It's time for your bath, calls Kanga. Now come and jump into the tub. Kanga rubs and soaps and scrubs the friends, singing rub-a-dub, rub-a-dub-dub. The friends sing along with Kanga and duck their ducks with glee. Oh dear, Kanga cries with a giggle. You're not supposed to wash me. Then out climb the friends to choose their towels. Pooh's is green and Roo's is red. Now warm and dry and clean at last, Pooh and Roo are ready for bed. Paddington takes a bath. From the very beginning, it was clear that Paddington was the sort of bear who couldn't help getting into a mess. When he first arrived at the Browns' house, he was covered in jam and cream, and Mr. Brown had to give the taxi driver some more money. Bears is 6 pence extra, said the man. Sticky Bears is 9 pence. Just wait until Mrs. Bird sees you, exclaimed Judy. She's a bit fierce sometimes, but I'm sure you'll like her. I'm sure I shall, if you say so, said Paddington. The thing is, will she like me? The door was opened by a stout, motherly lady with a kindly twinkle in her eye. Goodness gracious, she exclaimed when she saw Paddington. Whatever have you got there? It's not a what, said Judy. It's a bear. His name's Paddington, and he's coming to stay with us. Mercy me, cried Mrs. Bird. I haven't put clean sheets in the spare room or anything. Though judging by the state he's in, perhaps that's just as well. I think he'd better have a bath straight away. I've had an accident with a cream bun, Mrs. Bird, said Paddington, as Judy led him upstairs for a bath. Where did you say you came from? Called Mrs. Bird. Darkest Peru, replied Paddington. Said Mrs. Bird. Then I expect you like marmalade. I'd better get some extra supplies in. Fancy her knowing I like marmalade, said Paddington, as Judy led the way towards the bathroom. Mrs. Bird knows everything about everything, said Judy's brother Jonathan. While Jonathan got the bath ready, Judy explained matters to Paddington. There's one tap marked hot, she said, and one marked cold. Here's a bar of soap and a clean towel. Oh, and there's a brush, so that you can scrub your back. It sounds very complicated, said Paddington. Couldn't I just sit in a puddle? I don't think Mrs. Bird would approve of that, said Judy. And don't forget to wash your ears. They look awfully black. They're meant to be black, exclaimed Paddington hotly. I think... After Jonathan and Judy had left, Paddington peered at his ears in the mirror. He decided that perhaps they were rather black after all. Luckily, there was a tube of white stuff on the wash basin, so he was soon able to put them right again. After that, Paddington tried to write his name on the mirror, but it was much longer than he'd expected, and he soon ran out of toothpaste. He was beginning to feel hungry again, But the cake of soap Judy had given him didn't taste like any sort of cake he'd ever eaten before. In fact, it made him feel rather sick. Unaware of the problems Paddington was having, Jonathan and Judy got ready for tea in the room below. "I do wish Paddington could stay for good," said Judy. "He's all alone, and London is such a big place if you have nowhere to go." "I dare say," said Mr. Brown, "but I think we ought to report the matter to someone. Anyway," he added darkly, "it all depends on Mrs. Bird." Just then, the door opened and Mrs. Bird herself came in. Everyone went quiet and they waited to see what she had to say. "I suppose you want to tell me you've decided to keep that young bear," she said. "I must say, I'm very pleased. He raised his hat, and I like bears with good manners." "Fancy that," said Mrs. Brown, and after Mrs. Bird had gone, whoever would have thought when we left home this morning that we'd end up having a bear living with us? "Hooray," said Judy. "I can't wait to tell Paddington, just as soon as he's finished his bath." But far from finishing his bath, Paddington hadn't even started yet. He was too busy drawing a map of darkest Peru on the bathroom floor, with some of Mr. Brown's shaving cream. In fact, he was so busy, it wasn't until he felt a trickle of water run down the back of his neck that he realized that the bath was full of foaming water. He tried looking for the taps, but he couldn't find them anywhere, and when he stood up again, he couldn't see the bathroom either. In the end, he decided there was only one thing to do. That was to jump in, but he soon discovered it's one thing jumping into a bath, but it's quite another matter getting out again, especially when the sides are slippery and your eyes are full of soap. He tried bailing out the water with his hat. Then he called out, "Help!" at first in quite a quiet voice, so that he wouldn't disturb anyone. Then, in a much louder voice, "Help! Help!" "That's funny," said Mr. Brown. "I could have sworn I felt a spot of water." "So did I," said Jonathan. Judy jumped to her feet, pulling Jonathan after her. "Come on," she hissed. "What's up?" asked Jonathan. "It must be to do with Paddington," whispered Judy. "I bet he's in trouble again." "Are you all right, Paddington?" called Judy. "No," cried Paddington, "I'm not. I think I may be going to drown." "Gosh," said Jonathan, when he saw the state the bathroom was in. "What a mess! Even I never made a mess like this." "Oh, Paddington," said Judy, as she and Jonathan helped him out of the bath. "Thank goodness you're all right. I should have never forgiven myself if anything had happened to you." "It's a good job I was wearing my hat," said Paddington. "Why on earth didn't you pull the plug out?" asked Jonathan. "Nobody said anything about that," said Paddington. "I wish I really had sat in a puddle now. I shall never ever have a proper bath again." All the same, when Paddington came downstairs again, everyone had to admit that he was looking much, much cleaner than when they had first met him. Mrs. Bird brought in a fresh pot of tea and a large pile of marmalade sandwiches, and in no time at all things were back to normal. But before he went to bed that night, Paddington had one more go at having a bath. Only this time He made sure the taps were turned off. It's what's known as a dry bath, he announced. It's safer than using water, and it's much less messy. Tubby time for little Ernie. It's tubby time, little Ernie. What do you need for your bath? Whale soap, sailboat, rubber ducky. All clean. Harry takes a bath. Chapter 1. In the tub. Time for your bath, Harry Hippo. Quick, quick, up the stairs. Towel, soap, warm water, washcloth. Everything is ready. Jump right in. Splash! Splish, splash, splish, splash. Soap, soap up. Soap up everything. Wash, wash off. Wash off the soap. Clean nose, clean ears, clean face, clean hands. All clean. Chapter 2. Out of the tub. Quick, quick, out of the tub. Dry your ears, dry your face, dry your whole self, all dry. Now you can play some more. The boat sails, the whale swims. And Harry Hippo makes soap pictures all over the bathroom. Chapter 3. Clean up. Clean Hippo, all clean. Messy bathroom, all messy. Scrub the tub, scrub the wall. Dry the whale, dry the boat, dry the water. Hang up the washcloth, hang up the towel. Everything is clean. Good job, Harry. Button takes a bath. I have been playing all day. Mommy says I need a bath. This is the bathtub. I make lots of bubbles. This is my soap, my brush, and my sponge. I start with my toes and scrub all the way up to the top of my ears. Here are my duck and turtle. I love to play with my bath time toys. When I am done, I dry off with a big soft towel. This is my cup, my toothbrush, and my toothpaste. I brush my teeth, and up to bed I go with Teddy close behind.